One word to describe Caitlyn Clark.
Amazing. A beast. She is the truth.
It's intense. Caitlyn Clark is off that shit now. She let it all slide the first year. They was pushing her and all that. She like, you know what?
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here, and this is what it's gonna be this year.
Caitlyn Clark finally stood up for herself. No more staying quiet.
There's hype and then there's impact. Most rookies step into the league quietly, trying to adjust, earn respect, and find their rhythm. But Caitlyn Clark, she skipped the slow climb entirely. She arrived bold, confident, and absolutely unshaken. Her game demanded attention. From deep threes that felt personal to no-look passes only she could envision. Caitlyn didn't wait for the spotlight. She took it by force. And one NBA legend noticed. Larry Bird rarely speaks publicly, but this season, he made himself heard loud and clear. He sees Caitlyn Clark, and he's not staying silent, because what she's doing isn't just impressive, it's historic. When Larry Bird speaks, it carries weight, especially when he's talking about someone who's redefining the game in real time. Caitlyn Clark hasn't just arrived. She's reshaped the entire landscape of women's basketball. Her presence is appointment viewing now, earning praise from icons like Bird, Hall of Fame coaches, and former All-Stars alike. She's not merely starting conversations. She's leading them, making even the most established voices in the sport stop and pay attention. Her influence isn't a moment, it's a movement. Because Caitlyn Clark isn't just a rising talent. She's a force, a disruptor, a cultural flashpoint. The kind of athlete who shifts the energy in every arena, redefining what's possible each time she steps on the court. Some call her the future. Others say she's already the best show in basketball. But one thing's certain, this isn't a hot streak. It's history in motion. Before the numbers, before the trip.
I totally applaud what Caitlyn Clark is doing. She's putting the WNBA first. She's saying, yo, we matter first to me. We should matter first to the ladies.
This is one of the most outspoken figures in all of sports media, a man known for being blunt, calculated, and unfiltered. Yet, here he is, not criticizing Caitlyn, but celebrating her. Not just for her shooting or scoring, but for something deeper, her principles. Caitlyn isn't simply playing basketball, she's elevating it. She walks into press conferences reminding everyone that women's basketball isn't a sideshow, it's the main event. And she does it with purpose and composure that commands attention. With every bucket, every assist, and every quote, she proves she's not here just for herself. She's here to lift an entire league. The NBA media sees it, and slowly so does the world. When people start comparing you to Magic Johnson, that's more than flattery, it's a coronation. Magic knows what it means to be bigger than a star. He didn't just light up the court with his passes or charm.
Joy, I love it because, to your point, they dominated in college, and
as you both did.
yes, and then they brought it over to the WNBA, just like we brought it to the NBA. We changed the NBA, they changed the WNBA.
Yeah.
This is a Hall of Famer who isn't just praising her talent, he's aligning her influence with what he and Bird once did for the NBA. That's not something you say without meaning it. Magic sees how Caitlyn's game demands attention, how she wears the spotlight like it's part of her uniform, and how she's helping turn a league into a movement. She's not only lifting her own team, she's elevating the entire foundation of women's basketball. More fans, more viewers, more money, and the surge of momentum the league has been waiting for. And when someone like Magic Johnson draws a line between what she's doing now and what transformed the NBA in the 80s, that's more than praise. That's history recognizing itself. And what do you do when one of the greatest coaches the sport has ever seen says he would have loved to coach you? You pay attention. Coach K isn't just a Hall of Famer, he's the standard. 5 national titles, 3 Olympic gold medals, and more NBA lottery picks than some college programs have total.
Yeah, well, she's terrific, and it'd be easy to build something on her because she's very
The best thing she does is pass. She's a magical passer, and she has a great feel for the game. So, I mean, what her coach did, I would have done exactly what she did. Make sure she handles the ball a lot, and she'll make everybody better.
The scoring is unquestionable. The logo range threes are everywhere. But what truly catches Coach K's eye is her passing and her natural feel for the game. That rare ability to control it without ever forcing it. He calls her a magical passer, and that description carries weight. Because it's not just about racking up assists, it's about vision, timing, and anticipation. The kind of instincts that don't appear on a stat sheet but win championships. She doesn't just make the right play, she sees it before anyone else does. She's not just running an offense, she's elevating everyone within it. And when a coach who's worked with some of the greatest basketball minds alive says, "I would have done exactly what she did," that's the ultimate stamp of approval. That's Coach K looking at Caitlyn Clark and seeing a leader, a connector, and a generational basketball IQ wrapped into one. In a world filled with highlight reels, flashy edits, and rehearsed sound bites, sometimes the simplest answers say the most. Luka Dončić, MVP candidate, all-NBA superstar.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlyn Clark.
Really?
That was it. That's all he needed to say. And honestly, it couldn't have been a more Luka answer, because real recognizes real. Luka knows what it takes to dominate from day one. To walk into a league with massive expectations strapped to your back and still take control of every game. When he watches Caitlyn Clark, he doesn't just see talent, he sees command, that same unshakable confidence he plays with. He's not breaking down film or acting as a WNBA analyst. He's giving a name straight from the top of his mind. And that's what makes it hit even harder. There are 1,000 ways to call someone great, but when it comes from a player like Luka, whose own greatness is built on instinct, vision, and feel, it means more. His words say she's not just popular, she's respected. Her game translates. Her swagger doesn't just shine in college or the WNBA. It resonates with those who perform at the absolute highest level every night. In just a few words, Luka Dončić told the basketball world that Caitlyn Clark isn't just creating buzz. She's already earned the attention of the best. You know you've crossed over when your name gets mentioned alongside global icons. Not just basketball legends, but cultural powerhouses. Colin Cowherd doesn't throw out names for
Angel Reese is a good player. She's not a phenomenon. Tiger was. LeBron was. Taylor Swift is. Caitlyn Clark is.
This isn't a knock on Angel Reese. It's a spotlight on just how rare Caitlyn Clark truly is. Phenomena like her don't come around often. They're the ones who spike ratings, sell out jerseys, crash ticket sites, and turn an ordinary Tuesday night matchup into a can't-miss event. That's exactly what Caitlyn is doing, not just for the WNBA, but for basketball as a whole. She's not waiting for the league to elevate her. She's pulling it into the spotlight herself. And when Colin Cowherd says, "You belong," in the same breath as Tiger Woods and LeBron James, he's not talking about potential, he's talking about presence. Caitlyn Clark doesn't just attract the spotlight, she is the spotlight. But there's a weight that comes with being the one. It's not only about the fame, it's about how every move, every word, every play gets dissected. Caitlyn Clark plays with fire, and that's what makes her
That flagrant foul that she committed the other day, I thought it was a hard foul. I didn't think it was a flagrant foul, but I think they do that, Dan, because they overreact to everything Caitlyn does. Is they don't want to show like they're showing any favoritism to her. So we got to upgrade it to a flagrant foul, because if we don't, then people say, well, we're protecting her by not upgrading it to a flagrant foul. So I think that's why the referees overreacted in that play.
This is coming from a former NBA champion, the father of a perennial all-star, voicing what many have quietly been thinking. Caitlyn Clark is living under a microscope. The spotlight she's earned doesn't just illuminate her talent. It amplifies every move she makes. And in the effort to avoid appearing biased toward her, we're seeing bias swing in the opposite direction. She's being judged by a different standard, not only by critics, but even by officials. Yet, she keeps showing up, carrying that pressure like it's just part of her pregame routine. Because when you change the culture, people don't always know how to react. But Caitlyn does. She just keeps hooping. There's commentary, and then there's Jeff Teague. Raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest.
Like, if you being real, what do Angel Reese get that Caitlyn Clark don't get? Why would she hate her?
Like, if we're being real, what does Angel Reese have that Caitlyn Clark isn't already on track to get? Why would she hate her? Jeff Teague isn't trying to stir up drama or start some fake rivalry. He's simply calling out the obvious, the tension, the comparisons, the way two young stars who should be building the future of women's basketball together keep getting painted as rivals in a storyline they never asked for. What Jeff's saying goes deeper than just names. He's exposing a double standard, a narrative that turns every headline into a battle. And right in the middle of that noise, Caitlyn Clark does what she always does. Shows up, plays her game, and takes heat for being too good at it. Teague's not taking shots at Angel Reese. He's questioning the hate. Why is it that when Caitlyn earns attention, it feels like someone else has to lose? Why does her success get treated like a threat instead of a win for the entire sport? The truth is, Caitlyn Clark isn't being given anything. She's earning it. With every deep three, every full-court dime, every sold-out arena. And Jeff knows that. That's why he doesn't sugarcoat it, doesn't backpedal, doesn't throw shade, he just keeps it real. Because at the end of the day, it's not about who you root for. It's about respecting the ones who change the game. And Caitlyn Clark is...
Caitlyn Clark was a bad guy. She was the one that was with everybody doing all this, waving, turning her back on everybody. Everybody's like, oh, she's a cocky little...
That kind of reaction only happens when you're disrupting the rhythm of the game. When you make opponents uncomfortable just by existing on the floor. Caitlyn's not here to blend in. She's here to win. And sometimes winning means waving people off, turning your back after a cold-blooded three, or playing with a confidence so raw it shakes the room. Gilbert Arenas isn't criticizing that, he's celebrating it. Because when a player rattles cages like that and backs it up every single night, that's not arrogance, that's dominance. And it's not coming from a critic. It's coming from someone who was that guy. Someone who understood how to turn swagger into a weapon, how to make confidence feel like pressure to everyone else. Gilbert knows exactly what he's watching. What he sees in Caitlyn isn't disrespect, it's control. She's not just putting up points. She's dictating the game's tempo, pace, and emotion. She gets under your skin and still beats you with ease. That's why people talk. Because deep down, they know if she wasn't that good, they wouldn't care what she said or how she acted. There's hype, and then there's being the event. Caitlyn Clark is...
You know what I want to see in the WNBA All-Star Game? I want to see Sabrina Ionescu shoot against Caitlyn Clark.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see that three-point shooting contest.
Yeah, facts. That's dope. Hopefully it'll be there. It's in Indiana this year, right?
Yep.
This isn't just a casual conversation. It's a Hall of Famer saying out loud what every fan, player, and executive has been thinking. Caitlyn Clark isn't just in the WNBA. She's bringing a level of entertainment that transcends the league itself. People don't just want to see her play. They want to see her perform under the brightest lights, on the biggest stage. A shootout with Sabrina Ionescu isn't just a matchup, it's an event. It's made-for-TV magic, the kind of duel that elevates both players and gives the league the spark it's been craving. And the fact that these moments are being framed this way, that's the Caitlyn effect. When you become the player everyone wants to watch, even in an all-star showcase, that's not just fame, that's box office power. Larry Bird has never been one for hollow compliments, but when he speaks, the entire basketball world listens. And this season, he's made it clear he's watching Caitlyn Clark closely. As critics and competitors line up to test her, Bird sees something familiar, a fire he once played with. He's watched her absorb the hits.
Caitlyn Clark finally stood up for herself. No more staying quiet. Seeing her shut down Angel Reese was just the start. Now it's her turn to go at the other woke players who thought she wouldn't fight back.
Larry Bird's message couldn't have been clearer. He's proud that Caitlyn Clark is fighting back, not with words, but with her game. For Bird, a legend whose career was built on grit, confidence, and never backing down, watching Clark stand tall hits differently. It's not just about silencing critics, it's about proving she belongs. And with Bird in her corner, the message to the league is loud and unmistakable. Keep talking, because Caitlyn will keep answering. When LeBron James speaks, the world listens. His words move headlines. His praise turns moments into milestones. For 2 decades, he's been the face of basketball, shaping not just the culture of the game, but the standard for greatness itself. So when he jumps on X during opening week to shout out Caitlyn Clark, it's not just encouragement. It's a passing of the torch, or at least an acknowledgement that someone new has entered the rarest air. Just one sentence, but from LeBron, that's all it takes. This is a man who knows what it's like to carry the weight of a league at a young age, to have every play dissected and every performance expected to make history. He's lived under that pressure for 20 years. Now he's watching Caitlyn do the same and thrive. His tweet wasn't about stats, it was a signal, a sign that she's not just impressive for a sophomore or for the women's game. She's impressive, period. When one of the greatest players of his generation takes a moment to recognize yours, that's more than a tweet. That's validation from the top of the mountain. And let's be honest, LeBron doesn't do this for everyone. He's a student of the game. Selective, thoughtful, precise. When he sees something special, he doesn't over-explain it. He just calls it out. Direct, simple, certain. That's the kind of respect Caitlyn Clark has earned. Not hype, not potential. Respect from the very top. Because when LeBron co-signs you, it means you're already part of the story. And for Caitlyn Clark, that story is just beginning. Sometimes the boldest takes come from people who've lived inside the fire. Rashad McCants isn't a casual observer. He's been there. He's felt the pressure, the expectations, the quick turn of public opinion. So when he goes online and drops a take this loud, this confident, this raw, you know it's not for clicks, it's from experience. At first, it sounds like hyperbole, until you realize he's not hyping her stats, he's honoring her composure. Because yes, the scoring is insane, the range is absurd, and the competitiveness is elite. But the rarest thing about Caitlyn Clark is how she carries everything that comes with being great. The scrutiny, the criticism, the double standards, and never flinches. McCants is saying what many are afraid to admit. Caitlyn's composure under pressure rivals some of the biggest names in basketball history. And he's not saying she might be great one day. He's saying she's already walking like it, acting like it, owning it. It's not about whether you agree with him. It's about realizing that this conversation even exists and that Caitlyn has earned a seat at that table. Because when people start mentioning GOATs this early, it's not hype anymore. It's legacy knocking on the door. And in Caitlyn's case, she might have already walked through it. Love her or hate her, you have to talk about her. She's the headline before tip-off and the clip that goes viral after the buzzer. She's changing the league, shifting the media, and dragging an entire sport into the spotlight. One step-back three, one no-look dime at a time. Every time she stares down a defender like she already knows the ending, she earns more respect from legends and leaves her critics sounding smaller. She's forcing a conversation women's basketball has never had at this scale. Because Caitlyn Clark isn't just living up to the hype. She's rewriting it in real time, shot by shot. And if this is what her sophomore season looks like, then we're not just witnessing a breakout. We're watching history unfold.